things ramping up a little bit more for you guys today?
Yeah, it was good. Good day. Got through some concepts and then got some competing in there. It was a good day.
Seth had mentioned how you guys were working on just I guess, shrinking the offensive zone and the defenseman pushing up. What's the thoughts behind it, and I guess how do you go about implementing it?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is just try to create more zone time that way. If it's just keeping pucks alive, but then be able to reload from there. But also offensively having a really good F3 and a good support spot. And then the process for us, today, like we watched on video, we had some scenarios from the last 5 games where organically it happened, but it's something we're going to kind of focus on more here to create more zone time. So we watched it on video, worked on it on the ice, talked through some scenarios on the ice or off the ice. So thought it was really good today, and guys was really receptive, and who doesn't want to play offense, right?
Do you find the defensemen are they coming out of the zone too quickly or trying to create that gap too soon? Or?
Yeah, I think there's been times that we've lost our gap a little bit, but a lot of times it's also because where our F3 is or our forwards are, right? And D-man's not going to want to hold their gap if they don't see numbers back or the guy's in the right spot. So a lot of it's predictability for everybody, so that really focus on that here.
You probably have heard about Bobby Hull's CTE brain analysis. As a coach, what's your communication with players about concussions, about CTE, excuse me, particularly in training camps or at the minor league level?
Yeah, I mean the NHL does a really good job of showing videos, talking through it at training camp. It's mandatory for everybody to watch, staff, players. So we get educated of that from the NHL, and obviously we're aware of it. We'll keep an eye on players all the time. We're constant communication with trainers of how guys are feeling, and if any inkling of a guy that got hit. So I think in any invasion sport like hockey is, if it's football, hockey, or certain even soccer at times, right? You got to be mindful of it. There's a lot of studies that have come out now, and it's some things that you really got to watch for concerning signs as well. So that's probably the extent of it for us. Yeah.
Is there a cultural bridge you have to cross with guys wanting to play physical and wanting to get in lineups where you have to balance that physicality with their long-term health?
I think NHL has done a really good job of educating everybody. So I don't feel like that. As long as I've been around, I think everybody's very aware of it, and I think the trainers are great at diagnosing and seeing it. I think the spotters were in the back a few years ago was really important and still is. You can see it, but the trainers are so dialed in with that now, so there's any concerns at all, they'll talk to the players and us as a staff.
The fourth line, since Craig Smith got back those last couple of games before the break, seemed like they found a bit of that chemistry that they had earlier in the year, and seemed like you had them back together. Now, what are you hoping to get from them moving forward?
Their last couple of games there was good, right? They've created some offense, but also predictability defensively. Even earlier in the year they were really good together, right? So they complement each other well. I think with Reichel's speed, but also Smitty and Patty being so good on the wall and making sure pucks get to him, I think it's a really good mix. So as long as it's working, we're going to keep playing them together.
Obviously, there's a huge jump in compete level and physicality when you go regular season to Stanley Cup playoffs. Both what we've seen from the Four Nations, and obviously that is at another spot itself. Can some of that be a catalyst and a reminder to guys in the room? You may not be able to reach that every given night, but there is a gap that we need to shrink a bit here.
Yeah, I think it's a great point. I mean, you see even guys talk about it. If it's the guys that are playing in it right now, and they're talking about how fast the game is and how the feel of it, and the coaches, and just listening to Coop the other day talking about just the best hockey he's been part of in terms of pace and competitiveness, right? So I think anytime you start moving the bar up higher, I think it's good for the sport in general, and I think that's showcased here, right? And for us as a group or individuals, that's where you're trying to get, right? So we have to find a way to create an environment as often as possible, if it's practice, and to raise the bar till we can get to that level eventually.
Do you watch those games as a fan, or do you try to take notes like the coach in your brain too?
I think both. I mean, I think for sure you watch tendencies, you watch just impressive, with these games, watching it, the habits and how competitive the games are. It's almost like, the X's and O's structure is one thing, but just the raw competitiveness and the habits have been really impressive to watch.
How's Kevin Dean doing, and what's it been like to have him around the team the last couple of days?
It's been great. He's got a great demeanor. He's a loud personality. Guys love him in the room. We're just really happy that he's healthy enough to be around, and he seems like he's doing really well. He's got through it, but it's been great. Even today, he's on the bench, yucking it up with guys, and I think that's really positive. And yeah, we're just happy he's back.
How was Crevier today?
Good. Yeah, good. Passed his test. Had a good skate, contact, so he's ready to go.
Well, with Kevin Dean, I guess, when you first found out, how did that affect the coaching staff?
I mean, it was a shock when he first told us, right? But he was, he's got some history of this in the family. Probably talk to him more about it. But he seemed pretty confident that he was going to be able to handle it. But you never know with a situation like that. With the staff, we kind of knew it was coming, and we knew he was going to miss the last 2 games, and so we had to plan for that. And then we knew just as of a couple of days ago that he wasn't ready to come back on the ice. He can be on the bench, which is a huge plus for us, but he has to stay off the ice here for a little bit.
We all silly like the mayor.